All right. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another edition of our real estate backstory. We start off every Monday morning, every week, with kind of what the comings and goings, what's happening in the world, and how it affects real estate, what's happening in the real estate market. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker at Maxim One Realtor Realty Partners. This is my lovely bride and partner.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we're very glad that you have joined us today. So we have lots of cool things to kind of go over with y'all. Of course, we're just going to kind of jump off right away and talk about what's happening this week on like training and that kind of stuff. So for tomorrow, of course, that is election day. And if you haven't voted, you need to get out and vote tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Also on Tuesday, I am teaching iBuyers, what to know as a realtor. Starts Tuesday the 3rd at 9:30 in the morning. I'll be going over, how the iBuyers are impacting our real estate market and basically how to fight back and win kind of thing. Also on Tuesday, we have our accountability meetings. Wednesday, we have Mortgage 101. That's with Miss Nancy from New American Funding is going to be doing Mortgage 101. Thursday is how to become lender ready and leverage business credit. Miss Teresa McIntosh is going to be doing that one. That's a phenomenal class if you can
She
get it.
is really, really good. So,
Yep. And then also we have Tech Thursday on every Thursday at 10. And then we have the Ultimate Listing System this Friday coming up. I believe Lynn and Marcy are teaching that. And then just so that there's kind of a heads up, we are going to be doing our relaunch, which is our post-license class, our 25-hour post-license class. We're going to be doing that live in person in our new Fayetteville office. And that's going to start on Monday, November 30th, and it'll go for 2 weeks. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 weeks. We teach a series of 6 CE classes followed up by hands-on training. The CE classes you will be able to take as part of either in person or virtual. But if you need the post-license part is only going to be for in-person participants kind of thing. Even if you are a experienced agent, I still encourage you. Our relaunch is a really, really successful training program that we've done and kind of been cultivating for a couple of years. And we haven't done it since February, probably.
It's been a while.
We're definitely overdue. We've been wanting to do it, and so we're finally going to be rolling out. And so we're going to be doing social distancing. We're going to be making sure that we have enough room between everybody. So please, if you need post-license credit, I encourage you to join us on
If
Monday,
nothing
November
else,
30th.
it's a good refresher for regular CE class. And if you want to hang out just after the class, just to get some of the information on relaunch, just refresh your business plan, whatever it is that you're taking the topic on. I encourage you to do it because it's going to only help you moving forward on 2020.
Well, and honestly, the class was designed for two purposes. One, it was to relaunch as in real estate launch your business, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also there to relaunch your business. Most post-license classes are more pre-license stuff, and it just gets the same thing, blah, 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 blah. And so for what we wanted our post-license class to really have meat to it. So on our first one, it is lead generation. The second class is technology and real estate. The third class is creating your business plan. The fourth class is working with buyers. Fifth class is working with sellers. And then we wrap it all up with take me to closing, show me the money. It's an hour and a half with the lender and an hour and a half with the closing attorney, and a great time to be able to ask those kind of questions. So it really is a very comprehensive plan. So we hope that if you need that, or if you have friends that need it, send them over to us. It will be in our Fayetteville office. All right. So tomorrow, we've had a lot of stuff going on in our life. And so we have not been able to get to do early voting. So tomorrow is
Mm-hmm.
going to be your last chance. And we're going to encourage everyone to get out and vote. We don't care who you vote for, but we think that you need to vote.
And
Uh,
voice your opinion.
Absolutely. But I do want to kind of throw out there that, Redfin did this recent survey that said 16% of Americans would consider leaving the country if their preferred presidential candidate loses. And I just want you to know that I think that's ridiculous. So we are apolitical. We don't go either way kind of thing. But and we're not going to share our political views, any of that kind of stuff. But I do want you to know that, for us, we've done very well under Trump. We did amazingly well under Obama. We did great in both the Bushes kind of thing, and we loved Bill Clinton. And I'm so old, I even remember doing well under Ronald Reagan. So yeah, I'm dating myself. But see, here's the thing: is that never in a million years would I consider leaving this country. I think that we're very blessed to be here, and we are not perfect by any means. But this is our chance to say how we feel about what's going on in the country and the direction of the country we like to have, and that's the part about staying here. So if you haven't voted, please vote. And then we don't want any of y'all to go. So if your presidential candidate loses, please, we still love you no matter what. So overall, in the real estate world, things have been looking different. That's pretty much a good way to do, because
Absolutely.
September numbers came in, and a lot of folks were
Expecting.
yeah, but first of all, you know, if you look at the news, they're going to be like, for September, pending sales was down 2.2%, and new homes was down 3.5%. And so, at first glance, that's kind of like, oh, okay, the market's constricting. There's things going on. But the challenge is that there really is incredibly strong demand, even though home sales may have cooled a touch. You got to look at what is our normal trend for this time of year, kind of thing. Our normal trend is that once school starts back up, shoom, the market just, the number of transactions, that kind of stuff, we're going to be double where we were last year in transactions for the third quarter. And so please don't let those headlines scare you.
Well, and I think those trends also based on last month.
Mm-hmm.
So
They are, but
you
we've
can't
kind of seen the
continue.
same thing, and you're going
Right.
to see the same kind of news. And I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. No news is good news right now. Okay, and no one's going to talk about the positives of the market or how things are going and that kind of stuff. And so again, we're not going political at all. We want you to know what the numbers are and where they really sit, because on one hand you say, gosh, sales are down 2%, new construction down 3%. That doesn't sound like a really good time. But on one hand, we finally have more listings coming on the market, which we really, really have needed. Okay, because the number of new listings in our market have that's been one of the biggest challenges.
Right.
It's been a supply versus demand issue kind of thing. But the real kicker right now is, yes, they were down 2% and 3%, but pending sales year over year is up 20%. New home sales year over year
Up to 33%.
over
That's
33, a
third.
third up. Okay,
Right.
we're not talking like a little bump. So yes, the thing is that normally this time of year, our
We take
sales
a
our
dive.
sales drop between 5 and 15% a month coming out of our summer hottest buying season. Well, guess what? Dropping 2% compared to 15 is a drop in the bucket. Okay, that's really that's almost nothing. And for this time of year, for us to have this sales volume, that really is
It's really
phenomenal
great.
for our market. But that is heavily driven by the laws of supply versus demand. We still have a ton of supply. I mean, it's a ton of demand for the product, and we are starting to see a slight uptick in supply. We've needed that, and we've needed some cooling on the pricing as well. That's been kind of a concern, and we have seen where the appraisers have kind of assisted us with cooling the market a little bit, because we've just had a lot of appraisal issues, and it's kind of run the gamut right there, because we've been running double digit sales growth, or on year
Well,
over
just
year.
like we had a seller that demanded to list her price, for example, 225. Well, if you look at the comps, there's nothing sold in the past year for 225. What happened was they had a rare property in that neighborhood, which was upgraded beyond builder grades and 25% more square footage than the subject property. That sold for 225. So, with that said, just because you think the other neighbor of yours that's so much easier and quicker,
Yeah. You,
they had
yeah.
lots of upgrades.
Well, and we have to let our sellers know too, because another issue we've had with this is that, right now we can get a lot of prices on contracts that we can't take to closing. They don't appraise, and a lot of times, especially, if they're coming in and they've only got 3.5% to put down, and they're not ready to bring extra money to closing, that kind of stuff. It's rare for our buyers to be able to
Right.
afford to bring extra money to closing. And so if it doesn't appraise, it really put it, and where we have the biggest challenge is when realtors don't explain that to the sellers right up front.
Or the buyer for that matter,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
buyer gets upset because by this time they are lost money on inspection and appraisal.
Yeah. Now, kicking over into the economy right now, we did the third quarter GDP numbers came in, and our recovery really is looking pretty strong right now.
You'll share.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share our well, as soon as I get here. So uh, you can see that the record U.S. economic growth in quarter three is really great, but it's not done yet. Okay, so we have seen where we had this big drop in GDP for the second quarter. The third quarter, we kind of made that up. We're still a little bit under from last year. If you actually look at the U.S. economy overall, we're still about 3% down from where it was in GDP from a year ago. So yes, we had a huge hit from COVID second quarter, the end of first quarter. First quarter was down, but not nearly as significantly as second quarter. Second quarter was down huge, but third quarter came back bigger.
Well,
So
but if you also look at compared to 2008, 2009, you see how a recession has dipped. Well, we have even bigger dip this year, but we also recover much quicker. So there's a positive trend, in my opinion, as far as the GDP goes.
correct, and as we move into the fourth quarter, we're expecting that to kind of continue to rise above. After we get through the fourth quarter, we really should be back to where we kind of need to be, and hopefully moving ahead even more so, kind of thing. So, one thing that recently came out is that new orders for capital goods were up about 2% in September. They were only expected to be up about 0.5%, so it's up almost
What do
a
you mean
factor
by
of four.
capital goods? Just so.
These are cars, trucks, things like that. Along, you know, durable goods,
Okay.
clothes, that kind of thing. So, our GDP, our gross domestic product in in quarter two dropped 31%. However, in quarter three, it jumped up 33%. So we had a really nice kickback up, and it doesn't look like, what we don't want to see is that we had the drop, then we come back up, and then we drop again. So right now, all signs are that we're going to continue to move up, and that's really, really exactly what we need. On the job front, jobless claims fell again, and they were even lower than expected, kind of thing.
Which is good.
It is kind of a steady improvement on, or for the in the labor market. I'll go ahead and share this one too. So they fell to 751,000, and you can see that it continues to move down, and we are in a steady trend, and that's really kind of the what we really need to see. I don't think we're going to have any real significant drops. I think everyone is just kind of going into the future. I think we're all walking in, and there's very few of us running into it, kind of thing. We are seeing more restaurants open up. We are seeing things happen. At the same time, we are seeing, another uptick in coronavirus. So, where that takes us, that's going to be a real kicker for us. But one thing I did want to share out there is that, one of the reasons why we pay such close attention to unemployment claims is that Georgia's number 5 in the nation on jobless claims. So, of course, California, Illinois, New York, and Massachusetts are the big 4, but we come in really high as well at 43,000. jobless
Well, but if
claims.
you think about it, I mean, entertainment is one of the most industry that's going to suffer. We have a lot of major airline here that are based in Atlanta, so a lot of that has to do with the
Well,
demands.
we also have, the second highest number of federal jobs in the nation
Hmm.
are in Georgia, kind of thing. That kind of helps to explain it, but it makes me worry a little bit, kind of thing, because we need the unemployment rate to drop in Georgia. We need as the economy continues to open up, as people feel safe. We don't want anyone not to be safe. That's not what we mean at all. But we do need to kind of know what's going on. And right now, unemployment in Georgia is really high. Now, as it stands right now, has that impacted our real estate market? No, it hasn't. But will it if it continues to stay high? Absolutely, it will if it continues to stay high. One of the things that has been driving our market has been the mortgage rates. And so last week, mortgage rates were really, really flat from where they've been, kind of thing. We're running at that 2.88% mortgage rate all week long, kind of thing, which is still phenomenal for us to be talking about rates under 3%. So, that continues to be one of the driving factors. And the fact that we have these really low rates and we're hoping for more inventory to open up. I don't want prices to go down, but I'm okay with prices flattening out a little bit right now, just because I think that for the
Well,
health of
the
the industry,
appraisal, yeah.
it's important, kind of thing. With COVID coming out, we got some new information this past week that home ownership in younger folks is growing. It has grown pretty significantly, about a 5% jump, this year versus last year for our millennial buyer groups. More millennials are starting to jumping into home ownership than have ever before. This is something we've really, really wanted, kind of thing. And right now we are at our second highest home ownership rate since the last fall. So this is our sixth since '08, kind of thing. And so that's something that we're very happy to see. And so the millennial buyer right now is continuing to continue to drive our market right now.
Contribute to the buying process.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are seeing that more and more folks are ready to return to the office. That doesn't mean that they don't take their health and their safety serious, but it is important that for so many folks that we do return to the office, kind of thing. We know that this is very true for agents as well. We're seeing a lot of studies coming out that, when COVID first hit and everybody started working from home, productivity levels were really pretty high. Almost, and matter of fact, productivity levels actually jumped for the first couple of months when all the lockdowns are going on. And every month since then, it's been slowly ticking down. And so you kind of got to take and look at yourself and say, what am I doing from home? If you are going to have a home office, what's that office look like? How are you working out of that home office? Or is it time for you to, yes, take your safety seriously, take your health seriously, but do you need to get back into the office space? Will that help you improve your productivity?
Absolutely.
At the same time, we're seeing that commercial office space, even though it took a real big hit, commercial office space is back on the boom, kind of thing. And so right now, commercial office space has actually been increasing in demand, and the companies that were previously that had held off on renting and buying office spaces are now back on getting it, in part because if you had whatever office space you had before, now you need twice as much, because now we're trying to put social distancing into our offices so much and account for that. We got some interesting news. So Zillow offers cut 80 jobs this past week. Now, I don't what's the right way to put this? I'm not trying to put a water hose in somebody that's drowning. Zillow, Open Door has been losing money since they started.
Right.
But it really doesn't bother me that they've had to reorganize and restructure. They've been losing money hand over fist because they're trying to change what they feel is the way that people
Well,
buy
not
and
only
sell
that,
homes.
they're trying to change our industry. And what they're missing out of it is the human side of it, the
Yep.
relationship side.
And so, I bring this up because I am teaching tomorrow, and we are going to be talking about how to compete with Zillow and Zillow offers and that kind of stuff. In
Excuse
some
me.
instances, we can work with them. In some instances, we can't. But how do we win? And that's going to be the big kick right there. And so it doesn't bother me at all that Zillow's cutting jobs. Matter of fact, I'm kind of excited about it. Oh, that's kind of dirty. Also, we got some new information about how long do homeowners stay in their homes. And so, NAR, every year they tend to put out there what's the time
Surveys.
frame.
Right.
And so here in Atlanta, guess how long people stay in their homes?
11 years?
How did you know? It's almost like it was on the screen.
That you
So
can
it
see.
is. So in Georgia, and primarily in Atlanta, the average homeowner has been in their home for 11 years. Now, why is that important? That's important because when you start prospecting, when you start talking to folks, would you want to prospect a market or a neighborhood that is, do you want to farm in a neighborhood that's 5 years old? No.
Maybe.
Well, but chances are that you got another 5 or 6 years before anybody really starts moving out of that neighborhood, because our average right now is running 11 years. And so it's not that's the steadfast hard rule. That's just the norm right now. And so if you
Well,
want to spend
you
your
also,
marketing dollars, spend it where it makes sense.
well, if you think about it, also 11 years ago is almost a downturn in the market. So they have equity in those homes, and they're looking at cashing out. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Atlanta market is the way it is.
Well, but actually, it's kind of been going that way nationally. There's a lot of other markets that are running 12, and there's a couple of major markets in the U.S. that are running 14 years is the average time that a homeowner's been in their home. So, for years, pre-coronavirus, it was running about 10 years. Back before '08, it was running 5 years. And so
Hmm.
we're nearly double where we were on how often we bought and sold homes as opposed to 2008. So it's definitely just to keep you in the know more than
Yeah,
anything, kind of thing.
absolutely.
So right now we've got a need for workspace in
Oh,
our home purchases, kind of thing.
so the
Um,
flex room was really good, or used to be the man cave or whatever, are now being converted.
Yeah, and so we're seeing that is continue. So in your marketing, you need to be looking at how are we going to take advantage of adding workspace to our listings, because there's a new study that said what are the 6 top upgrades that buyers are wanting in the COVID era, kind of thing. What is driving our buyers' desires, needs, and wants. And so, of course, having some kind of home office and or classroom is really important right now. A lot of times those little rooms that we didn't know what to do with in the past
Oh
are
yeah.
now a real asset, kind of thing. The other one that's really big is an upgraded outdoor space, with folks wanting to go out in public a lot less. Having a really nice backyard, having a place where the family can hang out, being able to add that back door, swing open the doors and go out on the porch. That's a real sellable feature. But still, we see where we go to a lot of listings, and they'll have like this giant table sitting in front of the French doors where you couldn't even go out to it. So we really need to be making the most of that outdoor space. One of the, probably the third biggest issue is that there's no separation of space. Before COVID,
Everybody like the open floor
everybody
plan.
was all about open floor
Yeah.
plans, open floor plans. I want this big, I want a basketball court on my lower level, kind of thing. Well, guess what? Everybody wants now. They need some separation of space, in part because if you've tried to do a Zoom meeting with kids running around in the background and the dog barking and all this other kind of craziness going on. So we are seeing where, there is a bigger demand for what in the past we would have called cut up homes or segregated homes, that kind of thing, separated. Or, back, the walls are back, guys. And so it's one of those things where it really is a big deal. Home gyms and basements are another big selling feature right now. Unfinished, not as much, but man, if you got spaces and places for home gyms, if you've got basements right now, it is worthwhile finishing your basements because people want that space. We're seeing more and more homes with bigger square footages are selling faster, kind of thing. Next is upgraded master suites. I don't just mean the master bedroom or master bath, but the entire thing. The whole master suite needs to be a place of relaxation, getaway. For so many folks, they don't feel like they can get away. So what do they want to do? They want to close the bedroom door and be able to get away for a little bit. Let the little people live over there and do their stuff for a minute. But this is my retreat. And so upgraded master suites is a really, really big deal. So, and then the list wraps up with
more elaborate laundry room, believe it or not. People like to feel like they can just dump all their clothes in the room and not having to, when you prop the door open, you can shut it. So, it's, they want a little more room to clean up and to do their things with. So,
bigger laundry rooms
room
are a
is
big
actually
deal.
now
Yeah. I mean, laundry closets
a
are
wish
out.
list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We've seen that really, really move up onto the list. So. But we really appreciate your time. Please go vote. And I hope that you'll join me for CE afterwards tomorrow as well.
And before we sign off, I just want to tell for the one that knows Alan and I, thank you so much for your prayers and encouragement. And as you guys know, this month has been really tough on all of us with my dad falling and being in the hospital. And of course, the recent death of my dog. So that she's family.
Yeah.
And we miss her very much. And thank you for all your prayers and all your well wishes and also condolences. We truly appreciate you and love being family of yours.
Yeah, and then our daughter got rear-ended, so it's just been it's been a really really fun time.
Yeah.
But we also know that um, what drives us is not what happens to us, but how we handle that.
Correct.
It's the same thing for all of y'all. We all have challenges. We all have times in our life when things are really, really hard. And, just kind of sharing our heart, things have been really hard in the Richardson household. But what happens to that is are we going to let that destroy everything that we built? Are we going to let that take us down? Yeah, we've had some days that have been pretty rough. But honestly, knowing that we have so many of you guys and you're looking out for us means the world to us as well.
Absolutely. And all of y'all pitch in, and we truly appreciate it. And before we sign off too, I just want to give a shout out to Deanna Wheeler, who have her new heart that she's been waiting for the last 3 years.
That's a huge blessing.
So that is a huge blessing. So
heart transplant's not a little deal. So we're super excited about that. So
thank y'all very much.
If we can be of any service, call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. And we hope that you guys have a blessed week.
Happy Monday. Go vote.
Yeah, tomorrow.